Let's just close our eyes and start breathing. So I think for me, one of the most important elements of any kind of somatic exploration is, or any kind of practice, I would say, is stepping into it um, in a right way. Setting up space and making a decision in a way, making a conscious cut from everything that was before and everything that will follow after, and just inside of myself to remember that, okay, I'm stepping into a practice right now, and I'm gonna take the next half an hour or an hour to be present with myself, because this is an exercise in being present. It's nothing else really. And from that decision, we slowly become aware of our weight. And maybe we can notice that while we are still in the mind, we are still in the thoughts, how our weight is going up in the opposite direction of the earth. It's just a natural tendency when we are too much focused in the head to lift up. So maybe now for the beginning, we just consciously release into the ground. Release into the ground all parts: head, chest and hands, and belly, pelvis, and legs. Realizing that we are a being that is bigger than our head. Remembering that we have the rest of the body, and just letting our attention spread throughout the body, like a paint that's spreading. Remembering that we have legs and pelvis and belly, and see how comfortable that can feel for the head. So the head can, in a way, release a little bit. It's not the head that's guiding the whole thing, but the base of the body is holding the head. And as you are releasing your weight, you are coming into contact with some concrete surfaces. You're coming into contact with the ground. And enjoy releasing into the ground. Enjoy the contact of the body with the ground, and explore for a minute or two. How does this contact feel? Which parts of your body want to be in contact with the ground? And try to observe that the ground itself is receiving you. It's not pushing you away, it's welcoming you. It's inviting you. So in a way, that's the first step of releasing, releasing the weight, releasing the weight into the ground, yielding into the ground. And every place where our body touches the ground, the tone of that place becomes more prominent, becomes more activated. And please use the touch as well. Touch the surfaces of your body and feel how enjoyable it is to give yourself touch, to, in a way, cuddle yourself. And as you are giving yourself touch, you are also receiving this touch. So when you place the hands on your body, see how that particular place and the cells of your body are taking in this touch. They are taking in the warmth. So in a way, we are giving and receiving at the same time. Deep breaths, spontaneous movements, or just being calm and peaceful. Everything is allowed, and the beautiful thing is that we are allowing ourselves. There is no right or wrong. And now I invite you to touch your skull and feel the firmness of the bone, of the forehead and the top of the head and the sides and the back. Feel this beautiful shape of your skull. Feel how your skin is gliding on top of that bone. You can move your skin and it is gliding on the bone. Maybe you yawn, releasing all the tension in the face if it appears, if you notice it. And again, feel the base of the rest of the body supporting the head, or the ground beneath the head if your head is on the ground, how the ground is supporting. And now, with your attention, keep the touch on the head, on the skull, but we direct our attention a little bit deeper into the tissue of the organ of the brain. Feeling the skull cavity and how inside is our beautiful brain. Feel the very tissue of the brain, the organ which has weight, and try to release the weight of your brain. Feel how the brain is surrounded by layers of fluid, and how this tissue, brain tissue, is swimming in this fluid inside the skull. And we try to listen to this tissue, and we try to release it into the ground and allow it to take its space within the cavity, feeling the fluid around it. And this brain connected to the spinal cord which is reaching all the way to our tail, also surrounded by fluid. Brain and the spinal cord. Feeling the organ quality of tissue swimming in the fluid, connecting our skull and our tail. And we try to open or become aware of the back side of the brain. And the back of the spinal cord. So, in this process of listening and the process of receiving, it is important that we release this backside of the brain and the spinal cord. And every input that's coming into us that we are receiving, feel how it goes through the nervous system into the back of the brain and back of the spinal cord. Every sensation, every impulse that's reaching our being through the sensory nerves, it's traveling to the back of the brain and the back of the spinal cord. Be with this feeling, move if you are invited to move. Move by feeling this impulse going to the back. And as you are opening and receiving in the back of the brain and the spinal cord, also try opening your arms and hands, exposing your chest and your heart, and see how this gesture is complementing this receiving in the back. So many times we are watchful about if we should open up and receive, and rightfully so. But in the safety of your own personal space, try to find this movement, internal and external movement of opening the back and receiving through the whole front body, the palms, the face, the neck, chest, belly, genitals. And what is the gesture of the hands receiving? Receiving, listening, and receiving, whether from the outside, some outside input, or from the inside. Any cell on the inside is sending the information to the back. So we can listen to large groupings of cells, the whole system, or a particular organ, or a particular cell, or go even deeper into the cell, into what is called the mitochondria. Not trying to figure it out, just releasing, opening the back of the brain, and listening to the vibration which is arising. And if thoughts come, it's perfectly fine. We just wave them goodbye and again open ourselves to the listening, to the pulsating that is coming from the inside, from the cell, from the mitochondria, from our DNA, the pulse of life. And feel how nourishing this contact is with the very place that where our energy is created, like a fountain of energy inside of us, the fountain of life, singing. Receiving, receiving, receiving in the back. And when you had enough of receiving and sensing, try the continuation of that movement, which is releasing through the front, giving through the front. And try playing with this modulation of this natural movement, how we receive in the back all these gifts from the inside and outside, and how at one point it becomes natural to send them back out again. These gifts come into us and we process them and make them our own, unique, and then through the front we find a way to give, not wondering who will receive, but just flowing. Realizing the modulation of receiving and giving, and how one polarity often comes more natural to us, accepting that and slowly and gently practicing the modulation. Receiving into the back, giving through the front. Sensory nerves coming into the back of the brain, the back of the spinal cord. Motor nerves coming out from the front. the giving and receiving reflex, opening the arms, opening the chest, opening the front body, and the giving, extending the arms to give to somebody directly or just to give back to ourselves again. The embrace, the hug. The love. Settling down again in the center, in the cells. Feeling the cells filled with water, filled with fluid, and imagining that this fluid inside the cells is becoming peace and calm, like the calm surface of a lake. Like a perfect natural mirror. Not coming, not going, just being. Reflecting everything. Being in the center. Saying one more hello and gratitude for our cells, for the life in the cells, for the mitochondria, the spark of life. And accepting ourselves and loving ourselves with whatever it is. It's a journey, it's an exploration, it's a constant change, constant discovery, which has its natural rhythm. Some things we cannot force, we cannot rush. Some things are not in tune with the wishes and projections of our mind. But again, the clarity of the peaceful lake, allowing to see and allow the wider picture that our mind maybe doesn't understand at the moment. And slowly ending the exploration, finding a gentle transition and without rush. Joining in for the final sharing.